times. Good morning. So welcome to worship with the community of First Unitarian Church of Omaha. My name is Melissa Gibson, and I am the membership and administrative manager here at First, as well as a seminarian at Star King School for the Ministry. Whether you are attending online or in person, I'm glad you have chosen to be here today. A special welcome to visitors. This congregation is a community of all ages and abilities. It is a community with a rainbow of gender and sexual identities. It is a community of diverse cultural and class backgrounds. We draw from many sources of inspiration and share common liberal religious values. Whoever you may be, we welcome you to bring your whole self into this community. If you are joining us online, you are encouraged to sign into your YouTube account so you can post and share in the comments in real time. For those of you here in person, you are invited after the service to join us in the common room for coffee and conversation. We have a few announcements this morning. Our first one comes from Stewardship Chair Jack Round.
I have just a few comments about our stewardship campaign that's about to begin. As we begin our annual stewardship campaign, and by the way, didn't it seem like it just started? I'd like to begin with gratitude. Everything we experience here, the people, this worship, our programs, this building exists because of the generosity of those who have come before us and those who give today. I was honored to be asked to chair this year's campaign. I've been a member for 25 years, and I guess this time I contributed with this part. I want to thank Walt for the many years he's helped guide our financial stewardship and raise funds to sustain and strengthen this church. His continued leadership has made a real difference. And I'm grateful for the members who have been here much longer than I have, whose steady commitment has helped bring this church to where it is today. Over the past year, or even maybe a little bit longer, we focused on strengthening and carrying this building, and Jerry and the building team have done a truly remarkable job. This year, we've also begun asking how we expand programming to match that same level of care and excellence and increase our impact in the community. In the nonprofits I've been a part of, I've learned something consistent, that generosity often follows vision, and that it also follows impact. When people can see something done well, and when they see what's possible and understand why it matters, they respond, they step forward, and they invest. In the coming weeks, members of our community will share what this church means to them. We'll reflect together on our vision for impact in the year ahead, and we'll invite you to consider not only how your pledge can help bring that vision to life, but also what this church means to you and what you hope it can become. So thank you for being part of the stewardship campaign and helping bring to life the vision of what this church can become. Thank you.
Tricia Pyatt also had an announcement.
On the news, I've heard people say they can't believe it's February already. Well, I'm here to say that it's not too early to be thinking about St. Patrick's Day, and Lloyd has kindly offered to co-host a karaoke party on March 14th in the common room. Bring some treats if you want to share, join in the fun, and bring your best karaoke voice. And notice I said karaoke voice, not your best singing voice, because some of us don't know how to sing, and I hope you come. Everybody's welcome, and so that's it.
Also in the common room after the service, Sharon Conlon will be there representing UUJME, and we are trying to reestablish and reinvigorate the chapter here at First. So I hope you will stop by and chat with her. And now we're going to move into the body of our service. So to find out what else is going on this week, there's a QR code on your order of service as well. So our church occupies the traditional treaty lands of the Omaha and Otoe, Missouri tribal nations, whose sovereignty existed long before the state of Nebraska. We would also like to express our respect to the Ponca, Winnebago, and Santee Sioux tribes of Nebraska and the over 170 other tribes represented within the Omaha area. At First Unitarian Church of Omaha, we invite you to go beyond acknowledgments by educating ourselves and supporting causes, charities, and rights of Indigenous people in the area. Our prelude this morning is On Jordan's Stormy Banks, and it is performed by Don Horn, who is making his debut at First today. Daniel? Oh, yes. One more announcement, and then we're going to do the prelude.
So sorry, and thank you for your patience. I just wanted to let everyone know that our chili cook-off is happening on Saturday. Doors at 5:30. Bring your chili at 5:30, and then the event will start at 6 o'clock. So please, there will be prizes for best meat chili, best vegetarian chili, and best outfit. So I hope to see everyone in their best Western wear on Saturday. See you there.
Thank you, Catherine. All right, so On Jordan's Stormy Banks with Don Horn. So this morning, I welcome Sharon Conlon to light the chalice, the symbol of our faith. As the chalice is lit, I invite you all to stand and join in the chalice lighting words. Spark of the Spirit, cupped in earth's embrace, light of love, alive in all creation. As we kindle this flame, we rekindle our connection to the sacred web of life.
Good morning. Oh, let's see. We already read that, right? Okay. Good morning. I want to introduce you to the poet Muhammad Darwish. He was born in the 40s and he died in 2008. He was an award-winning Palestinian author and poet. His literature, particularly his poetry, created a sense of Palestinian identity, and it was used to resist the occupation of his homeland. I was fortunate to visit the Muhammad Darwish Cultural Center in Ramallah. I went on the same trip last year, the Sabeel trip to Palestine that Melissa took this January. I'd encourage you all to consider going on a Sabeel trip or any trip to Palestine to see facts on the ground. So this is Muhammad's poem. It's Think of Others. It reminds me of the rhythm of, if you're familiar with that poem, Otherwise, it has that same back and forth. It's Darwish's plea to be the candle in the dark and to help those who are in need, both near and far. As you prepare your breakfast, think of others. Do not forget the pigeon's food. As you fight in your wars, think of others. Do not forget those who desperately seek peace. As you pay your water bill, think of others, those who have only the clouds to drink from. As you return home to your home, think of others. Do not forget the people who live in tents. As you sleep and count the stars, think of others, those who have nowhere to sleep. As you liberate yourself with metaphors, think of others, those who have lost their right to speak. As you think of others far away, think of yourself and say, if only I were a candle in the dark.
If you'd like to join me in the opening hymn, standing if desired, it's number 94 in the gray hymnal, There is More Love Somewhere. Number 95, whatever the guy playing the piano says.
Thank
So if the children and/or the young at heart would like to come forward, we've got a story to read, and we'll have the pages up on the slideshow so everybody can follow along. So Mike, yeah, Mike's good. Okay. So this story is called Everything Grows in Jito's Garden. What do you think the word Jito means? No idea. How about grandpa? Can you say Jito? Jito. Okay. Mama says I have two homes, one here, one far away, and a place called Palestine where we will all go one day. Sometimes I really miss the home I've never seen, but I can taste its sweetness in my Jito's rows of green. Do any of you have gardens? Do any of your grandpas have gardens? That happens sometimes. Jito grows all kinds of things, vegetables, fruits, and flowers. He can grow most anything with his green thumb superpowers. Can I see your thumbs? Not yours. There are sour green, generic plums growing high on the trees above, and wara and nab, grapevine leaves, and our mama fills with love. There's crunchy green kahir and plump red bandura galore. What do you think? What are these fruits here and vegetables? Tomatoes and cucumbers, right? And they say gir is how they say cucumber, and bandura is how they say tomato. Can you say bandura? I thought that was the easiest one. He brings them to the kitchen. Tata sings and calls for more. Who do you think Tata is? That's going to be Grandma. So Jito and Tata. And from the tree that Jito raised in the dirt, all full of stones, the best of all figs that are his favorite taste of home. Who likes figs? Who likes fig Newtons? One day as we picked fruit, I asked him, Jito, tell me please, how did you learn to garden and make magic from small trees? As he pulled down a long, strong vine, finally he replied, my Baba had a garden at our home in Palestine. He taught us how to grow our food and take care of the earth the way our people always have since long before my birth. The sweetness of Jaffa oranges, the smells of za'atar pies, Jito whispered softly, wiping sadness from his eyes. So I asked him quietly, then why did you leave? Our land was taken from us, our family had to flee. We will go back someday. Will we go back someday? I hope so, he replied, but for now I tend the garden and I will show you how. He said Palestine remembers us no matter where we go, so I learn all I can from him to help his garden grow. I learned that deeply buried seeds will try with all their might to reach for the surface and branch out into the light. And even when the storm clouds hide the sun and cause the days to darken, the home rooted in his heart makes everything grow in Jito's garden. All right. You want to help me sing the kids out? We're going to do the first verse of This Little Light of Mine, which I think is number 118. We share our blessing with others through a community offering. Half of the loose currency in the offering plate is donated to a local cause which resonates with Unitarian Universalist values. If you are online or prefer to give via your smartphone, you can use the QR code or link provided. Our Share the Plate recipient for February is the Great Plains Black History Museum here in North Omaha. The museum is a nonprofit organization devoted to the preservation and celebration of historic and contemporary cultural developments and contributions of African Americans in the heartland of America. Moving into our joys and concerns, you are also welcome to come forward and silently place a stone in the joys and concerns bowl. Those online can put items to be shared in the comment area. Colin, do you want to come on up? Do you have Russell's? You have Russell's in the comments?
I don't have anything in there.
Okay, all right, I got them all written down then.
From Patricia Pyatt. Oh wait, I think she already said that one about the karaoke night on the 14th. And so we'll start with Christina Strong, saying, "My father passed away yesterday, about 45 minutes after they took him off the ventilator. I appreciate your thoughts during this time." From Leah Magisana, saying, "River will be having surgery on March 2nd to repair issues from his previous surgeries last year. Please keep him in your thoughts." From Russell Porter, saying, "Please keep Lynn in your thoughts as she navigates some difficult diagnoses." From Daniel, saying, "The birth of twins on the 29th of January, new grandbabies."
If you'd please join me in number 1031 in the teal hymnal, "Filled with Loving Kindness," and we will just do the first verse. So he's been in the news a lot this week and seems to be fighting the good fight. So I offer this quote from Stephen Colbert. Cynicism masquerades as wisdom, but it is the furthest thing from it. Because cynics don't learn anything. Because cynicism is a self-imposed blindness, a rejection of the world because we are afraid it will hurt us or disappoint us. Cynics always say no, but saying yes begins things. Saying yes is how things grow. Okay, good morning. So we're going to start with falafel. It's kind of like a deep-fried fritter. In Palestine, it tends to be round, a bit larger than a golf ball, and made of ground chickpeas, fava beans, and fresh spices. Sometimes you get onion and potato. The outside is a golden brown, and the inside varies from a light green beige to a grass green, depending on how creative the chef gets. It seems to be an unofficial national dish. Most things in Palestine are unofficial. Falafel is eaten at every time of day and served up by families, street vendors, and restaurants. Eat them on their own or pop them in flatbread and make a sandwich. It's like if we just shoved a protein-rich and tastier hush puppy in all of our food. It's pretty good. You can do an internet search, and there are a number of places in Omaha that offer falafel, but I can't vouch for any of them. The next thing I promised today was cats. They're everywhere across Palestine, Israel, and Jordan. It seemed like we were never far from a cat, or two, or three at any given time. While we were discouraged from putting too many location details on social media, I did post a daily cat count, and numbers range from 4 to 40. I got pictures of the more agreeable ones, and I pet 9 in total, but most are feral and feasting from dumpsters and trash cans. It's fair to say, with rare exception, the more cats I counted, the more underserved the community. Those 40 count days were usually more intense. So with falafel and cats out of the way, I'm hitting truth. My truth. What I saw, what I felt. I went over there thinking some things were true and returned with a much different truth. My trip was, in part, sponsored by a Christian organization that operates through a Palestinian liberation theology lens. So that's the framework. I spent most of my time in Palestinian areas and with Palestinian facilitators, tour guides, and lecturers, and those sympathetic to that point of view. As someone from the United States, prior to this trip, my impressions of the area were largely shaped by our media and our government's so-called special relationship with Israel. Yes, I found some of Israeli government's activities problematic, but I certainly didn't feel qualified to have a strong opinion, let alone be up here and be loud about it. After all, that problem is 6,000 miles away, and our country, good grief, has enough domestic issues to keep me busy. I literally told my husband on the way to the airport, I think people think I'm going to come back and be one of those annoying Free Palestine people. I don't think I will. Spoiler alert. My truth? I believe I was deeply wrong about what is happening over there. I believe I was deeply misled about how relevant it is to our lives here in the States. My truth is also that I don't think I can tell you the truth. You could tell me all the things I saw and heard and smelled and felt and tasted, and I'm not sure I'd believe you. But those experiences are mine, and I know they're real. I saw the wall, a wall that weaves around and through Jerusalem and the West Bank of Palestine. It is massive, about 440 miles long. That's almost from here to Chicago. And keep in mind that the West Bank is only about 400 miles in length. The wall is longer than the land. That's how much it meanders through people's daily lives. It is an imposing 30 feet in some areas, taller than the roof above us right now. It is topped with barbed wire. The Berlin Wall was 12 foot tall. The Great Wall of China, on average, is 26 feet tall. And all this wall, known as the Separation Wall or the West Bank Barrier by the Israelis, is all inside a land the size of the state of Delaware. Palestinians call it the Wall of Apartheid, and it's easy to see why. The wall cuts Palestinian communities off from one another. Small villages are cut off from city centers, depriving them of access to basic resources. People are forced through checkpoints to ensure their paperwork is in order. Palestinians are divided in such a way that they must have permits to travel to different parts of Palestine, whether it's to go to work or school, or even an ambulance going to the hospital. Our bus, more than once, was stopped at checkpoints. An Israeli soldier boarded with their finger on the trigger of an AR-style rifle and walked the bus aisles, checking our passports and visas. One of our Palestinian facilitators lives in the West Bank, about 6 miles from her office in Jerusalem. Her commute every day is about an hour and a half one way, and that's if everything goes smoothly. And something you learn over there is that things often are not going smoothly. I haven't even mentioned the guard towers. Like what you see in a prison yard, those dot the length of the wall. We were told not to photograph them, at least not too closely. The towers may or may not have soldiers in them, but they definitely had what looked like 1 or 2 dozen cameras attached to them. What I didn't know at the time is that those weren't just cameras. Some towers are also equipped with robotic devices that spray tear gas and shoot stun grenades and rubber-tipped bullets. One afternoon, our group had lunch in Silwan, a once well-established Palestinian neighborhood in East Jerusalem. We sat inside and on the porch of a family's home, a small 1-bedroom caravan. The couple, Amina and Farik Abu Diab, had prepared maklaba, a massive chicken and rice and veggie dish seasoned to perfection and layered in a giant pot and then flipped onto a large platter. And when I say massive, I'm not exaggerating. Almost 20 people ate from that platter, and there was plenty left over. I don't even particularly like chicken, but that was maybe the best chicken I've ever had in my life. And as delicious and special as that was, we had our meal beside the ruins of the husband's childhood home. He'd lived there his entire 62 years, most recently with multiple generations of his family, his children, his grandchildren, until Israeli soldiers arrived on Valentine's Day morning in 2024. As the Nation reported, suddenly the house shuddered from a deafening blast. The Israeli army had blown open the property's iron gate. A squadron and battle gear streamed in, pushed Abu Diab back. It was followed by almost 20 Border Patrol officers, armed and with guard dogs. After the officers were finished, the bulldozers moved in. They flattened everything: the fruit tree he had planted with his mother as a child, the rooms of his grandchildren, the gardens outside. Abu Diab had seen this coming. He'd been a prominent activist against Israel's land annexation of Palestinian territories for decades. Israeli forces had been demolishing homes all around him, and he knew that it was only a matter of time before they came for him. He had even alerted journalists who documented the raid as it happened. But that didn't make the morning any less horrifying or the lingering trauma any less real. They bulldozed with such violence, Abu Diab said, his voice breaking. It felt like our hearts were being crushed by the bulldozers too. Still standing is one corner of the home where you can see the kitchen cabinets still hanging. Much of the floor tiles are also visible. And that's what he wakes up to every morning. And at any moment, the bulldozers can show up again and destroy the small trailer home. That's how he goes to sleep every night, in terror. But Amina and Fakhri continue to host delegations and do interviews, likely putting themselves and their property in more danger, but with the off chance that the attention changes hearts and minds, whether their home is saved or not. So how does this happen? How is a country, perhaps our closest ally, allowed to destroy people's homes? Put simply, Israeli government weaponizes the law. They cite a lack of permits for homes. They deny proof of ownership. They claim eminent domain, naming archaeological interest. More than anything, though, is the fact that Israel is not held accountable for injustices, but I'll circle back to that. Our delegation visited another location just outside Bethlehem that is under similar demolition orders. This farm, known as the Tent of Nations, and now run by multiple generations of the Nassar family, is about 100 acres, with fields of olive trees and underground dwellings dating back more than 100 years. I'm not sure I believe in heaven, but the care and the beauty of that place, the air, the community, that felt a lot like whatever God might be. The Nassar family has the actual registration and deeds from the Ottoman Empire, and yet they have been in court fighting to prove they own the land since 1991. That's 35 years, almost as old as me. In the meantime, the land around the farm has been overtaken by illegal settlements whose residents have done almost $200,000 worth of damage to trees and infrastructure to the Tent of Nations. The farm used to be an easy 15 minutes from 2 major cities, but road access and checkpoints have turned that into at least 40 minutes. And again, that's if everything goes smoothly. The goal is likely to isolate the Tent of Nations so severely that they just give up and leave. Despite that, the Nassar family, dedicated Christians, maintain and promote 4 guiding principles. We refuse to be victims, we refuse to hate, we act on our faith, and we believe in justice. The farm is surrounded with new trailer homes with light posts seemingly every 20 feet that shine brightly onto the land all night. Not to mention the cameras. Every movement on their land is recorded. The International Court of Justice, which is basically the judicial branch of the United Nations, has called these land grabs illegal, but Israel continues to traumatize and displace Palestinians. Why isn't the Israeli government held responsible for these illegal actions? The answer is, unfortunately, kind of simple. It's with money and influence from the United States. It's our tax dollars. It's our reputation. The plea from the Palestinians we spoke to was for us to contact our representatives and ask for the United States to withdraw unconditional support from Israel. That was it, really. They shared with us so generously in every way, and all they wanted in return was for me to share my experience and tell my representatives to uphold international law. The United States is far and away Israel's largest ally, so the genocide in Palestine is our problem. Our government allows it to continue without consequence. It is not lost on me that I arrived in Palestine on the heels of the murder of Renee Good and that Alex Pretty was gunned down on a street in Minneapolis while I was over there. Israel's tech surveillance is increasingly becoming adopted by our own Department of Homeland Security. Evermore, our law enforcement is cross-training with Israeli military and police, and we see the results of that in how ICE is operating more like a military unit than an immigration enforcement agency. What is happening in Palestine is happening here. What happened in Minneapolis was described by a New York Times columnist as an occupation designed to punish and terrorize. Palestine is a test laboratory. Israel is exporting the results, and our government is adopting them. You've heard it a million times. MLK's words, "A threat to justice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." I understand that now on a level I never knew existed. The Palestinians we spoke to have different ideas on what a solution looks like. Like us, they complain about their own government as much as any other. I heard no defense of Hamas. I heard no celebration about the October 7th attacks. I saw no threats of Sharia law. I heard nothing anti-Semitic. Judaism is co-opted for Israel the way Christianity is co-opted by the far right in America. It's about power, it's about greed, it's about money. It has nothing to do with God, and so many people are being lied to. My truth is that it was curious and awful to hold this violence in a place where Jesus walked. So whether it's Jesus or Muhammad or Moses, almost 4 billion people from Abrahamic faiths find this place sacred. And in that place are soldiers in fatigues, their combat boots kissing the ground, a gun or two in hand and holster. On one of the last nights, I was sitting on the front patio of our hostel, a Catholic monastery built in 1903 on top of a hill in East Jerusalem, with a stunning view of the old city. I remember the weather being close to perfect. The air was still. It was about 50 degrees, but dropping fast. And I wrote in my journal, "There are gunshots in the distance. This is my 3rd time hearing them since being here. Target practice, someone climbing the wall. The holiest of lands, and the background noise is bullets." So I'm out of time for now, but I hope to continue to learn and share. Several members of this congregation, as well as friends from many parts of my life, helped make this trip possible, and I carried you with me. I wouldn't have done it without you. Amen, Ashe, and blessed be. In hymn number 131 and the gray hymnal, "Love Will Guide Us." You can sit down again. So our closing words today are the poem, I Side with the People by Reverend Drew Patton. If ever they ask you, which side are you on? Tell them plainly, I side with the people, with the precious ones, all, the integral, the soft and the fierce, irreplaceable, the beloved, if only by God, in trees who were born, who breathe and survive. Say I side with those who keep watch beneath the bright screaming arc of bombs, with those who hide in dark doorways, or who through the moonlight flee, with those who stay and fight, and with those kept up all night by hunger and grief and terror and rage. By desperate, unruly hope, who are good and green at the root, who are more than the worst that they've done, who do their best to love and still pass on the hurt in themselves that they hate. But what when people take sides against each other? The people, even themselves. Side with whatever is human in them, what is fragile and feeling and flesh. Side with the truth of our stories. Side with the fact of our pain. Side with defiant insistence on freedom. Side there again and again. Side there today and tomorrow. Side there the rest of your life. Side there together until we belong, each one to every other. If ever they ask you, which side are you on? Say, it doesn't work like that. Tell them you side with the people and abide where the people are at.